Welcome back to another episode of the Lisbon Sessions. In this episode, Melissa Goncalves explains the importance of portfolio diversification.
Hi everybody, we're back with Melissa from MFG Consultants. We're in a beautiful park in Cascais with there's peacocks, there's chickens, there's turtles. The Parque Marecal Carmona.
There you go.
It's beautiful actually. So we've gone around the houses with the Golden Visa. We've tried to tick lots of boxes today. Let's get on to, we were just talking at the marina there, one of the most important parts of the Golden Visa, especially for investors, is they will have to choose a portfolio.
Correct.
You've got to invest 500,000 euros into qualifying fund or funds. Thank you very much. If that microphone's picked that up. A few other additional guests. You've got to choose that. So tell, from your perspective, you're right at the coal face. What are people doing? What are you talking to clients about from the investment perspective?
For the investment perspective, it's important, first of all, for the clients to know what is out there, okay? What sectors are out there and what type of funds they could invest, okay?
Yeah, there's 100, I think, is there not close to 100 funds now,
yes.
I think, in the fundosphere.
Exactly. So it's important for the client to build a strong, what we call European portfolio. Based on diversification, okay?
Yes.
2 to 3 funds to be able to invest. Obviously, there are funds that have a minimum of 100,000 to be able to invest.
Yeah, that's true. We are 100,000. That's typical. So 5 would be a lot of the time the absolute practical.
Exactly,
most.
exactly.
But then you've got to speak to 5 people like me. Everybody, it can get a bit exhausting.
But it's important to get the perspective of the fund and the fund manager, and important questions are always clarified exactly with the fund managers.
So people come to you, and at that point, are you introducing them to a representative of the fund, and how does it work? What's the fund selection process from your perspective?
Well, that's mostly the financial department. Okay, so what happens is in our case, in MFG Consultants case, the first step is always to understand the profile of the client. Okay. Ask a few questions to get a feel. What is their investment appetite? All right.
Yep.
And then depending on their risk profile, if it's medium, high, or low, options are given for the client. Okay. And then from there, obviously, reports are drawn up. The client will analyze and then get back to the financial department and say, look, I'd like to meet the fund managers of A, B, and C.
Good.
For my Golden Visa investors. And that's where you come in, for example, David.
That's where we come in, and we will tell you that they're the greatest funds in the world. You'll be exhausted with the whole thing. I'm just kidding. So that process, a couple of weeks, what in terms of time scales usually?
It is a couple of weeks. I wouldn't say more than that. And that is usually done before, for example, the subscription to the funds. So
right, yes. So a couple of weeks to decide. They blend the funds, get the asset allocation, how they would like to diversify, choose the funds, and then the subscription process begins to the funds.
Exactly, because what is important is it's not selling Golden Visas, it's not pushing products, it's structuring decisions for the best interest of the clients. Okay.
No, I think that's because I think the fact that 100 is ridiculous, everybody. And I think there's got to be some narrowing down from that perspective. Pedigree, track record, history, size of fund, however you want to shape it.
Right.
I think because it's actually practically impossible for people to read 100 fund documents. So I think that's a great advantage from you guys, is saying, look, these are X funds that are diversified. There's different sectors. Go and have a look at these in a bit more detail. So there's a bit of narrowing down initially done. From our perspective, guys, I mean, I represent New Frontiers, so I talk on behalf of New Frontiers. What I would typically do is we would sit on a Teams call. I can run through our full investor presentation. I can keep things as short and simple or as long and deep dive as you would like. And we talk through everything. It's a one-on-one, answering any questions you've got specifically. You can bring your advisors on, so you can bring financial advisors, legal reps, anybody. I do I've had probably 5 or 6 people sometimes on some of these Teams call. The more the merrier. full disclosure about the fund, how we're doing, how we see things in the future, and effectively that would then be replicated, as Melissa said, with a handful of people that you have selected. In terms of appetite, what people are looking at the moment, Melissa, what sort of sectors are people looking at investing into?
So you have tourism and hospitality with indirect exposure.
Strong in Portugal,
exactly.
Definitely.
You have the agriculture and sustainability.
Okay.
And what is very popular that we've seen amongst investors is, for example, renewable energy. For example, picking New Frontier as an example is a great option most clients decide to pursue, because not only do they have their return, but they're able to impact the Portuguese economy.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's ironically by doing something good for Portugal, but you're still making significant profits.
It has an ESG appeal, obviously. Portugal is very strong in renewable energy, known as, you know, what we call the green economy. And that's also very appealing to clients because they want to have, you know, to contribute to the Portuguese economy. And by doing so, they're getting a return, but they're also impacting the Portuguese economy that way.
That is true. I mean, ironically, one of the best areas to benefit Portugal, in my opinion, in our opinion at the fund, we believe that in the next sort of 10, 15, 20 years, the growth of renewable energy, be that solar, wind, battery storage, in order for basically Portugal and probably Spain to be the heartbeat of energy, the infrastructure and the growth that's necessary to achieve that, renewable energy will ultimately be one of the biggest success stories, we believe, among Golden Visa funds, among investment funds in general, over the next 10, 15 years. So no, I agree. It is, and of course I would agree, I represent the fund, but it makes sense. It makes total sense. One other thing I just meant to mention as well, we are fully Sharia compliant. Also, New Frontiers, just to jump in briefly when Melissa was talking about different clients, different demographics, and coming from different areas of the world where they're looking for different things in funds, we're fully Sharia compliant as well for anybody that requires their investment portfolio to be Sharia compliant. Melissa, thank you very much as always. That's been 3 incredibly valuable videos. For anybody who hasn't seen the other ones, Melissa's given a really good summary of the whole citizenship / residency issues at the moment in Parliament. We've had a very good rundown on the timeline of the Golden Visa. Please click onto that one as well to understand what you can expect from the Golden Visa and the timelines. And that was a very valuable insight into funds, diversification, and what people are looking at the moment. Melissa, as always, pleasure to have you on, and come back in season 5.
Thank you so much for having me, David. It's a pleasure.
Thanks so much, everybody, for watching.